sticking with the energy strategy, Cabinet Secretary, you've inherited a draft energy strategy which sets a presumption against North Sea oil and gas. And Ragnar Lowe conceded earlier on that there's no delivery plan underlying that at the moment, either for how to deliver that or to mitigate the consequences of that decision. The context of this is a report out today which shows an overwhelming majority of people think that the UK should meet its oil and gas demand from domestic production rather than importing it. So, Cabinet Secretary, what's your view? Do you think that there should be no new exploration and production in the North Sea?
So, first of all, the energy strategy and just transition plan is for consultation. So we're currently consulting on the language that Mr Kerr has outlined, and the finalised plan will reflect the consultation responses that we've received. So I'm not sure if Mr Kerr himself has responded to that with his views on the language that he's outlined around presumption against, but I'm sure others will have, and we will absolutely continue to consider whether that is appropriate. Obviously, consenting for oil and gas is reserved to the UK Government. It is not a decision for the Scottish Government to take. We believe that maximum extraction of oil and gas is not compatible with our net zero objectives, but we're also cognizant of the fact that we're not able to turn off our requirement for the use of oil and gas overnight, and so we need to take a pragmatic approach that meets our demand. So that is going to be requiring the UK Government to have a much stronger climate compatibility measure and ensure that any decisions that they take are within those climate compatibility measures.
I'll just press you, Cabinet Secretary. You are the Cabinet Secretary. What is your view?
I've set out my view.
You haven't. You haven't, Cabinet Secretary. I asked for your view on whether there should be no new exploration and production in the North Sea. As the new Cabinet Secretary, the committee would be interested in where you intend to take the portfolio.
I've set out my view because this is not an area that I have responsibility for. Mr Kerr will be aware that the decisions around the consents for new oil and gas exploration rest with the UK Government. Now, I don't think that is something that, in fact, I checked back the record, I'm pretty sure that is not something that Mr Kerr asked Mr Bowie, who actually has a direct responsibility for this, a couple of weeks ago. My view is, as I've set out, that maximum extraction of oil and gas is not going to be compatible with our net zero objectives. We need to take a pragmatic approach, recognising the fact that there is still going to be a demand for oil and gas to meet our ongoing energy security going forward, but we need a much faster just transition, which includes the UK Government investing in areas like carbon capture and storage and the grid capacity to allow us to take advantage of our massive renewables potential. And I hope that the UK Government will come forward with a much stronger climate compatibility test to ensure that any new oil and gas coming forward meets net zero objectives.
I had understood that energy was part of your portfolio, Cabinet Secretary, which is why